Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. Driving home, ho, ho, ho. Still got the sleigh in the back of the truck back there. I'm listening to a really good podcast, Cheap Heat. I'm talking about the WWE Hall of Fame. They're kind of like going over names that could be in the Hall of Fame this year. Who's deserving? Who do they think is going to get it? Who's sort of is a name that many people aren't thinking about, and they're sort of going over a lot of names that I think really do deserve to go in there. I think last year, a lot of the rules that we thought were rules changed, with Rey Mysterio going into the Hall of Fame, who's still an active member of the WWE roster, wrestling, still routinely on the main roster, not like a legend that comes back here and there along the way. I don't know. More than likely, it's probably going to be like an Ultimate Warrior Ted DiBiase situation. Ted DiBiase was one hell of a name. It was one hell of a heel for them, had one hell of a run, even stuck around as a manager before leaving WWF to join WCW, joining the NWO. It sort of didn't end well for him there. Once, Bischoff came in, they didn't really need his character anymore, so he started managing the Steiner brothers and then just faded off to obscurity. But he main evented the class of WrestleMania 26. It was later figured out that, he wasn't the guy that was supposed to main event that class. It was supposed to be the Ultimate Warrior. The WWF thought the Ultimate Warrior was going to be the one to go in that year. He ended up turning it down. They couldn't believe it, and they didn't have a backup plan, so Ted DiBiase ended up being the guy. More than likely, somebody was supposed to go into the Hall of Fame in LA and didn't do it. They couldn't get him, and that's why Ray had to go in there. This year is going to be a little bit different. Triple H is going to be the guy sort of picking people to go in. I don't know if that means like William Regal is going to go. I don't know if that means like Terry Taylor is going to go in, and then a lot of people are going to throw their hands up in the air, not believing that the Red, they can't believe that the Red Rooster is going in. I think that a lot of the things going around, I think Paul Heyman is honestly the most deserving name to be the main event man for the Hall of Fame class. I understand a lot of people think that Bray Wyatt is going to go into the WWE Hall of Fame. This is the year after his death. It was really surprising. He had a run in WWE. I'm not going to tell you that he had the greatest run of all time, but when you really look at, what he did, he's one of the guys that came out of NXT that fans forgave him for almost everything that started and stopped with him. I'll tell you honestly, most of the people that, come from NXT to WWE, they come with like a lot of fanfare that they think they're going to get the same style of push. And normally once they hit the main roster and the first push that stops, I think almost everybody abandons hope that person is going to be there. Bray Wyatt, everybody's always going to remember him coming up as a part of it Nexus 2.0. With CM Punk as the leader. He came up with Husky Harris. He disappeared shortly after his debut because of the fact that he got punted in the head, and the whole build up to WrestleMania 27 was that CM Punk had all of these guys around him, and week by week Randy Orton punted them all in the head. And then it just ended up being CM Punk and Randy Orton at WrestleMania, one-on-one. There was not going to be any numbers. It was just going to be them two in the ring. And, that's what happened. Once he went back down, he was able to reestablish himself. He got, the Wyatt character shortly after that. And that had a big build. I was not watching NXT at the time, but there was a lot of people who really thought that, this was something. He had Luke Harper with him. He had Eric Rowan with him, so he had the muscle behind him. He had the character, and the guy could sell you used goods. He could sell any car on the lot. He could talk himself out of any situation. He can make a promo out of basically saying nothing and make you feel like, he really shook your world to death. Shortly after coming up to the main roster, he had the run with Kane. They had the Inferno match at SummerSlam. I can tell you right now, I thought it was awesome that I got to see an Inferno match, because at that time period, they had sort of died out. We hadn't seen one in WWF in years. They were kind of hot when, Undertaker and Kane were just starting their rivalry as a part of that run. There was a weird one where it was like Kane versus MVP, I want to say 2005. And for them to run one after that, I was really surprised. Match really wasn't anything. From my seats, you really could see the spots coming before the fire came, but they shoot it on TV. It looks like they're really getting burned. But I think it's pretty damn cool that they can plan a match and know, don't go over there, don't go over there. And they make it out of there. The fire's fucking real. It's fucking hot. That's just the way it is, man. But the run with SummerSlam going up against Kane, that of course turned going up against John Cena at WrestleMania 30. To get trusted to go up against John Cena that fresh into your run. You can tell that they have big plans for him. Honestly, in my opinion, I think the fact that when he lost at WrestleMania, he kind of lost any and all credibility to him. That was the first time it was if you were to beat Cena at WrestleMania, that's a deal right there. I mean, that's big. That's big time. And I don't know. I guess I understand it. There's a lot of kids that travel to WrestleMania with their parents and stuff like that. You don't want to see kids crying. But I mean, if they were to really let him put the beat down on him there, that's something that people remember. People remember the WrestleMania matches. Doesn't matter if it's not the main event. I don't really remember where it was on the card. In my mind, it was kind of early in the night, but you beat John Cena at WrestleMania. People are going to take note. People are going to remember. He got his revenge. Cena beat him in the cage match. I think Cena even beat him, in something else. They got them out of the feud into something else. But, I don't know, man. Bray should have just walked out of there as a winner, just ultimately defeating anybody and everybody. He won the WWE Championship in that Elimination Chamber. He went to WrestleMania in New Orleans, or was that Orlando? One of the ones where they were putting the bugs and shit on the ring. He lost that one. It is what it is. I don't even really remember what happened to make him kind of fade away and then reevaluate himself, and that's when he came back as the Fiend and he attacked, Finn Balor. Was that the night after SummerSlam or something like that? And that was the first time that we saw the mask. And I'll tell you the truth, I was an early person looking at that, being this is kind of campy. The mask doesn't really look that good. But it was the more you saw it, the more you kind of wanted to believe in it. And it kind of made a little bit more sense, and it was pretty fun. I still don't understand all of the funhouse crap that they were doing with the Vince McMahon figure and the pig and a few other random things that were going on with the Pee-wee's Playhouse kind of set that they were doing. I still don't remember what happened for that to be an imaginary land, but Seth Rollins went there and burned it down that one time or some shit like that before their Hell in a Cell match. But people liked it, it is what it is. Hell in a Cell possibly one of the worst matches that I can possibly think of that, main evented a pay-per-view that had, really had to build. And it was almost like we knew it was going to be bad before it happened. I don't think it really helped the fact that, they were wrestling under that red light at the time. I don't know why they've never learned from that. The Sin Cara matches with the blue light, they sucked. The Fiend wrestling with the red lights, it sucked. It is what it is. I mean, I think that was a Hell in a Cell match that ended with them using a toolbox as a weapon. It's been a while since I saw that one. I remember I saved myself. Almost got talked into going to that show just because of the fact that it was in Sacramento and it was here in your hometown, and I just couldn't pull the trigger, and I think I lucked out on that one. I don't really remember anything else from that card, to tell you the truth. What the fuck did he do? He ended up winning the championship again. He won it. He was on a good run with it. People were believing him as a champion. Then he lost to Goldberg. I think that was supposed to set up like Goldberg versus Roman. I think that people would have wanted to see, the Fiend versus Roman. The match wouldn't have happened anyways, because I think that was WrestleMania 36. That ended up, being like the COVID year, and then, he took a break, and then Braun ended up having to fill in for Roman, because it was like one of those years they just sort of like left Braun off the WrestleMania card yet once again. I don't know. I mean, I understand you got to go there. It's the biggest payday in town, but Braun Strowman, why are you going back there? Every year they forgot about you. They treated you like a monster, but when the WrestleMania season came, they was like, yeah, we just don't really have anything for you. Never really made sense to me. But back to Bray. Bray ended up getting released during the whole shit. What was I saying? During COVID time, he ended up getting during release. I was looking for pandemic. That was a word that I just completely went blank on right there. He got released during the pandemic time. Rumors were kind of like the fact that he was going to go to AEW. It never ended up happening. He ended up going back and being in WWE. The second run, I don't remember a lot. I think they were trying to use the character but change it a little bit. He was trying to come out there and be like himself and talk to the fans, and they were almost treating it like the Fiend was like almost like a virus that overtook his body. That's the only way I can kind of like explain what I thought was going on. He had the match, the Mountain Dew match against LA Knight, which was only a year ago, but seems like fucking forever ago because of like what LA Knight became. And you really even think what LA Knight is now, since he had that one match against Roman, and it was it just, I don't want to say they killed him, but you can definitely see he's not what he was, and he's definitely not what they wanted him to be. It's almost like he got over by accident, and they're like, we got to find a way to clip this right now. But I don't know, it doesn't really make any sense. Definitely just like when Brody Lee, Luke Harper passed away. It was really shocking. It came out of the middle of nowhere, and it made a lot of people kind of really think about like what's going on in the world. And I don't know, man. It was sad. I think that I understand if they want to put him in the WWE Hall of Fame. There's a lot of people in there that I can point at before I point at Bray Wyatt as a Hall of Famer. I just don't. I mean, if you put a ballot down in front of me, and you were like, vote for 5 names on here for the Hall of Fame, and that was all you got was 5. I don't think that he's one of the first 5 names I'm picking. That's just me. But I get it. So we'll see what goes down. But, you know, Bray Wyatt, WrestleMania 40. See if his name's on the thing. Oh, I thought when I turned the car off, it was at a stop for some reason.